Mind it all. Let me get your thing up here.
Thank you, man.
I can do it. That's right. You got it. Okay.
Rick, in this day of roster building, how important is it to kind of have that nucleus that you can count on, that you know is going to stick around? Because even if Sonny doesn't come back, you still have Zakai and Jemai and, you know.
Well, we always believe that the real improvement comes from within our team and the culture that we've tried to create, but we also believe that at the end of every year, you've got to reset that culture by almost having the attitude this is your first day on the job with the new team that you're getting ready to start with, even though you've got guys that are familiar with you. But the fact that Santi has announced that he's coming back, and with these other guys, and Zakai certainly will be out, and we're not sure when he will be back, but he will be back. And but we've always started there, and then we've tried to build around those guys to put together the best roster that we can.
You haven't been at Tennessee too terribly long, but are you amazed at how much the game has changed in the last few years with the NIL and the portal?
Well, I've been in the game for over 45 years now, and it's always changed. There's always been something. Every year, I could go way back to when I first started. You could recruit every day of the year. You could do whatever you wanted to do, and 365 days a year. Then they came in with different recruiting calendars, and that's changed forever. But I don't have a problem at all with the NIL. I think if someone can do well with their name, image, and likeness, they should be able to do that. I think where we are right now, I'm not sure the way it is right now, if it can sustain itself. I do think that ADs and administrators around the country are trying to figure out what is the right way to do it, and I think that they will come up with something. But I do think that everyone wants to see athletes be able to capitalize on what they can.
In SEC schools, what's your favorite place to go, and what do you think is the hardest place to play at?
Well, my favorite place is where I live, but it's funny, we talk about that, and obviously being in Tennessee, I would say our favorite place would be to be in Nashville, and because we feel like Nashville's got to be another home away from home situation. And when you go through conference play, and I'm not trying to dodge your question, every place is hard. Everybody's got a little different vibe to it, but it's hard to win basketball games, not only at home, but because you do, obviously, I think teams feel even probably more added pressure, feel like they've got to hold serve at home. But when you go on the road, I don't think any coach would ever tell you that they think there's a place that's easier to play with. Games are normally obviously determined by the players, but our league has grown so much with the improvements in facilities in this league. It's really amazing what's going on within our league. And my first year in the league, when Greg Sankey took over, the one thing he said is basketball's lagging behind all the other sports in the league, and he said, I'm going to do my part to make sure that we build everything from an infrastructure point of view. Now it's up to you guys to do your jobs, and it's really, truly, really terrific in the way the league has grown over the last couple of years.
Rick, I know you spoke about Josiah and Julian a couple of weeks ago. Can you say how many spots you're holding? And curious, what is any update on Urosh? Obviously here at
again, those guys are all still pursuing their dream of being a professional basketball player, and all I can say is that I believe it'll all work out. When it's all said and done, how that's going to work out, I don't know, because they've gotten really until the end of the month to decide what they want to do. But we've had to go, and certainly we have to build a roster, but I do think all that works out over time.
And so it's all three of them still with Josiah, Julian, and
they're all in the draft.
Okay.
And again, but I think all their intentions are to be professional athletes.
Do you find it difficult to give them guidance on what they should do, what's best for them?
Well, the fact that that two of them have been in school 4 years, and there's no doubt I think their dream is to chase the big dream. And with Julian's situation, certainly he'll get the feedback, and I think all three of them have really good representation, and that's who they're going to listen to. They're the ones out there working for them to really try to give them every bit of information and advice they can find for them. But it's a process really that you can't rush. You really can, and it's something that they have to go through, and we're not going to ever hold anybody back from having a chance to do that.
Rick, with the calendar the way it is in the transfer portal, without obviously not talking about specific players, there's a big rush on guys right at the end of the tournament, kids who are going through the process but don't hire an agent who come back. As a coach, how hard is that window from a roster management standpoint?
It's hard, and maybe one of the hardest things now because, and all we've asked them to do is to try to, again, we can't rush them. That's not what we can do, but we want them to get out and go through the process as quickly as they can and try to get as much information as they can. And for some, it's easier. Like Santi went through it, and he felt like he was able to find out what he needed to find out and decided he wanted to come back to school. But I think every guy is an individual case that they have to look at. But from a coaching standpoint, where it's difficult because we know that portal can empty real quick. You never know who's going to keep coming in it, but early, when you see guys that you think that can really help your program, you've got to really make up your mind you're going to try to go on.
Would you like to see the calendar change? Is that even possible to where you don't have those kind of decisions like, okay, portal guy's here, I'm waiting on a guy. Would you like to see that to take some of that burden off?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we all wish we could, but you look at the NBA, they can't do anything with their calendar. They're going to still be playing for another month or so, and so they're, that's a good, 6 weeks after our season's over with, where guys that decide they're going to do that get hooked up with their agent. They end up going different places to work out with their agent and try to get themselves as prepped as they can for the NBA, even though I think that all that we could do for them. I think that we've worked them hard over the 4 years there. But you could also look at the portal, say, hey, you could shrink the time there. But I just don't think the NCAA in any way is going to do anything that they feel that could hurt, student athletes and give them more time to see where it all shakes out.
How do you think Freddie's handled coming in, redshirting, and getting now focusing towards next season? How do you think he's handled it?
Well, I mean, it's big. I think anytime you can get a jump start like he did, within 3 weeks on campus, he put on 15 pounds and starting to see his body change, which, again, if he hadn't have done that, he would still be a couple weeks away from being able to get on campus. So him getting there and having a chance to work and actually being able to travel with us and see the environments that you go into will probably help him some, but nothing helps like being in a game and going through it. But he certainly has taken advantage of everything that he could within our program, getting here early.
Is the portal something you check on every day?
I don't. I got good assistant coaches, and the portal's, I don't know, there's dates when it opens and it's closed. I think as coaches, we think it's probably open all the time because, you start hearing about players going into portal before Christmas. And you hear this guy's not happy because he's not playing. Then it can change because he might start playing. So it's never ending. And but as coaches, it's a part of where we are in the game today, and so we have to be aware of what's going on in every aspect of college basketball.
2 more. Everybody good?
All right, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.